What's up, everybody? It's GoblinX, and welcome back to another ranked draft. This time we are doing a ranked draft of Core Set 2020, my very first experience with the ranked draft of the set, so let's just get right into it. So, our pack has a Mythic Rare, which is super tempting to just start with that. If you're trying to play really competitively in draft, it's usually not the greatest to start off with a card that's multiple colors, because it kind of locks you into one kind of strategy. Or you just can't play the card at all if you end up getting cut on those colors. However, if it's something you want for your collection, I would totally just recommend grabbing it. And yeah, I mean, it's a mythic rare legendary card, and we just got confirmation from Wizards of the Coast, if you haven't heard, that Brawl will be coming to Arena. Which I should mention, because this card is a card I would totally make a Brawl deck around, which makes me want it even more for my collection. So yeah, Brawl is basically 1 versus 1 commander using only cards that are standard legal. So you play a 60 card singleton deck, and you choose any legendary creature or planeswalker to use as your commander, and you basically have access to that card as if it were in your hand at all times. So you can build your deck around whatever your favorite legendary creature or planeswalker in standard is. So it's a very cool format. I'm happy that it will be coming to Arena. But anyways, with all that out of the way, for those reasons and more, I'm just going to take Kaikar Wind's Fury. It's just a card I'm interested in owning. It definitely seems like if we can end up playing Jeskai, if we can play blue, red, and white, it does seem like it's also a powerful card for draft. So, pack 2, we have another rare that's pretty interesting, Drawn from Dreams. It's a 4-mana sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is just good card advantage here. It lets you pick your best 2 cards out of the top 7 of your library to put into your hand for later. It's a little bit of a slower card, but there's a lot of power in being able to sift to just your best stuff. Just really good at grabbing bombs, like grabbing a Kaikar or something like that. So I'm pretty interested in just picking up the Drawn from Dreams here, but I will go over the rest of this pack and actually look at the stuff. So Audacious Thief is a really good card. 2 and a black for a 2/2. Whenever it attacks, you draw a card and lose a life. So if this can get more than one attack in, then you're just straight getting so much cards and so much value there. Even if you can only get the 1 attack in, it's basically a Phyrexian Rager, which was an old card. It was 2 and a black for a 2/2. When it entered the battlefield, you draw a card and lose a life. And that card was just super good in limited as well. So I think this card is really, really nice, especially if you can get off multiple attacks with it. Frostlinks is really nice as well, because it comes out on turn 3 as a creature itself that also slows down your opponent's game plan, or lets you swing in with your creatures and get aggressive, whichever you need. It both prevents their creature from attacking next turn and just prevents it from blocking the turn that you play the Frostlinks as well. So another pretty good card. Boneclad Necromancer I've liked a lot. 5 mana for a 3/3 that comes with a 2/2 zombie if you exile a creature from a graveyard. That can pretty much always happen when you cast this thing. So it's basically 5 mana for 5 power, just split up amongst 2 creatures. Pretty nice common. And Bone Splinters. I've been a little unimpressed in Bone Splinters, but I think that's just because most of the time that I've played it, I haven't had a whole lot of token-producing cards, or just weak creatures that I would be fine with sacrificing. So yeah, those are all pretty nice cards. The white cards are all pretty average. Obviously just a sideboard card here. And just some okay creatures. I think I'm just going to go ahead and take this Drawn from Dreams in this pack. Alright, pack 3. What kind of creature is this? This is a bird wizard. Alright. I was checking because Chandra's Embercat is some elemental synergy. It adds for mana specifically to cast elementals. It looks like this creates spirit tokens as well, so nothing to do with elementals there. I think I'm going to go with the Frostlinks here. It's just a really good card in blue, and That's kind of a color that we're already in right now. We've got Kaikar and Drawn from Dreams. Even if we don't manage to go blue, red, white, we can just try to focus on blue as our first color and then maybe go into a different second color later. Alright, another Frostlings. I'm pretty interested in that. I do like that card a lot. Nothing super fantastic in red or white. Yeah, I think I'm going to take another Frostlings here. We're just going to be mono blue with the Kaikar. That's the plan. Alright, so this pack, there's an Apostle of Purifying Light seems pretty good, because it's a 2-mana 2/1 that can exile cards from a graveyard at the very least. So at worst, this is a decent card that's totally fine to put into your deck. Like, you're super happy just drawing this on curve and just playing it as a 2-mana 2/1, with the added upside of if you happen to be playing against black, this card's just actually the nuts. So I think that just the ability to have a card in your deck that's gonna be okay no matter what your matchup is, and just brutal if you're against a certain color, is a really strong ability. So I like the Apostle of Purifying Light there. Battalion Foot Soldier's interesting. It's basically Legion Conquistador if you've ever played Ixalan Draft. That was the same card, except it was a vampire. So it's a pretty nice card. It can give you a lot of value, just being able to play a 2/2 and just get a backup squad to your hand. Just play a bunch of 2/2s out there. Bone to Ash is a nice card. It's also a non-creature card, which combos with Kaikar. So this card's really good because you get to counter whatever their big creature threat is and draw a card, so it's a lot of value there. And Octoprophet's great because the name is fantastic, so you always got to play some Octoprophets. Cerulean Drake is not quite as good as Apostle of Purifying Light, in my opinion, because I think just a 2-mana 1/1 flyer is less interesting to just have in your main deck. But I think I'd still main deck this just for the fact that it would be really good against red. Alright. So what's it gonna be? Again, I'm very new to this format, so I'm not super sure with what's gonna be best here. I guess I do already have 2 4-mana cards and 2 3-mana cards, so maybe I just take a little 2-mana dude here instead of taking a third 4-mana card. Yeah, I'm going to try out the Cerulean Drake, see how that works out here. And here, Dragon Mage is a lot of mana, but it is a 5/5 flying for 7 mana. And when it deals combat damage to a player, everyone discards their hand, then draws 7. So, pretty weird secondary ability there. Pretty risky as well, which is very red. Very flavorful for a red card. So, it's like, once you hit them for 5 in the air, both of you discard your whole hand to draw 7. Like, I feel like most of the time your opponent will just have drawn an answer to the dragon if you do that, but at the same time, you draw 7 cards as well, so it's just a weird, crazy card there. There is a Windscarred Crag, which is very worth mentioning. If we are going to be trying to cast a Kaikar, we're going to want some mana fixing for sure. But there's also a Brineborn Cutthroat, and this just seems really good in a blue control style deck. Like if we had picked up that Bone to Ash, that's a pretty sick combo with the Cutthroat. You just want a lot of instant speed stuff to do to make this Cutthroat get pretty large. So I think I'm definitely the most interested in the Brineborn Cutthroat and the Windscarred Crag. I'm going to go with the Brineborn Cutthroat here. I think this card's probably going to be pretty good, because the other thing is, it's also just like instant speed, 2 mana to deal 2 damage to an attacking creature. Like, you could pretend that it's just an instant that does that. Since you get to flash this in, your opponent's not going to see it coming, that you're going to have a 2-power blocker out there to maybe get rid of one of their ground creatures. So that seems like a pretty versatile card as well. I like that a lot. Here I think I'm going to take the Scuttlemutt. It's going to help mana fix for whatever we end up playing. And obviously, especially if we end up playing the 3-color card, Scuttlemutt will help us cast that for sure. Nothing in blue here, so we can't stick to the mono blue strat of just drafting nothing but blue cards and deciding on our other colors later. So I guess we'll take the best card here. except that none of these cards are very good. I honestly think Blade Brand is my favorite card here, but I don't think I'm going to take that. I will take something that would work with Kaikar instead, just because even though I like Blade Brand the most, it's still not that great. So Steadfast Sentry seems fine. 3 mana, 3/2 Vigilance, that gives you a little bit of value when it dies. Chandra's Spitfire could potentially be good. It's probably not going to be good in this deck. It's going to be a 3 mana, 1/3 flyer. I don't see us getting a lot of ways to deal non-combat damage to our opponent. Act of Treason, we're probably not going to have any ways to sacrifice creatures, so this isn't the greatest. And Infuriate's just a random pump spell. That doesn't seem that good either, so I guess Steadfast Sentry it is? Is that really the best option here? I don't want to take a Disenchant, because since this is ranked draft, every game is going to be best of one. We just have one game against each opponent, so I can't sideboard in a Disenchant. So if I take this, it's just going to go into the sideboard and never show up in the main deck, because there's no sideboarding. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Steadfast Sentry here. And here we have some okay options. I think I'm going to take the Rapacious Dragon. It's a 5 mana, 3/3 flyer, and when it enters the battlefield, it creates 2 treasure tokens. A treasure token, if you don't know, is an artifact that says tap, sacrifice it, add a mana of any color to your mana pool. So this is a nice, semi-scary flyer to try to kill our opponents with, while also giving us some treasure to fix our mana for trying to cast stuff like Kaikar. So I like the Rapacious Dragon here. Right, here, what is this? This card just seems really bad. 4 mana for an artifact. You have to spend a 5th mana to tap it, choose a card name, then reveal the top card of your library. If that card has the chosen name, sack it and draw 3 cards. Only use that anytime you could cast a sorcery. So it's like 5 mana, draw 3? I guess if you succeed on the first try, that's fine. But after that, you've spent 4 mana into something that's not going to do anything until a later turn. Definitely a pretty risky card. I don't think that's that great. I think I'll just take Inspiring Captain here. I'm not super high on Befuddle. It can allow one of your creatures to win in a combat. Like in a scenario where you have a 4/4 and they have a 4/4, you can block with yours and give theirs -4, so that yours just kills theirs without dying. So in theoretical situations like that, this could be pretty nice. It also does draw a card to replace itself, and it's a non-creature card to go with Kaikar. But, I don't know, it's 3 mana, and the -4 ability just doesn't seem that great. I feel like this is mostly just, like, 3 mana draw a card, maybe prevent a little bit of damage. I probably just want this 3/3. But at the same time... Actually, yeah, I probably want the 3/3. I was going to say, at the same time, if I'm building around Kaikar, I'm not playing a deck with a lot of creatures, but regardless of the fact that I've picked up Kaikar, I already have, like, some aggressive creatures on curve. I think we're probably going to be trying to use the Frostlings more for tapping down our opponent's creatures to try to get extra damage in, than to try to just slow down our opponent. We definitely have some nice stuff on curve here. Looks like we're getting a little aggressive, so I'm going to go with that kind of theme. So just the last picks here, nothing super exciting. We did get a Dragon Mage second to last, so that is something we can try out. That ability is just so, like, I don't know, so risky, though, that it really worries me. So let's see what we got here. Okay, Rotting Regisaur is a nice rare that is a big, scary monster that if they don't kill it immediately, can kill your opponent pretty fast. But we're probably not black. We have Scholar of the Ages. This seems really good. It is a lot of mana, but it does get 2 instants or sorceries from your graveyard back to your hand. So this is like 3 cards in 1. For 7 mana, you get a 3/3, and then whatever your best 2 instants and sorceries you played earlier in the game are. Right now, we don't have a lot of instants and sorceries. We've literally got 1 sorcery, but the potential on this card is pretty high. Angel of Vitality seems nice. 3 mana for a 2/2 flyer at worst. And if you have a decent bit of life gain stuff, this could potentially do a lot more. There's Aerial Assault, destroy a tapped creature, gain some life if you have flyers, seems nice. Dawning Angel, 5 mana, 3/2 flyer to gain 4 life when it enters the battlefield. It's also nice. And there's Shock, just nice little early game removal. Let's see. What should I go for here? I guess I only have 2 red cards right now, and I have 3 white cards. So I maybe just want to stick to blue-white as best as I can, and have red be the splash, try to get there off stuff like Scuttlemutt. So that makes me a little bit less interested in Shock. You already have 4 3-mana cards. I honestly don't know what's best here. I guess we don't actually have any removal yet, and Aerial Assault combos pretty well with the Frostlings, so I think I'm just going to take the removal and make sure we've got that covered. So we'll take an Aerial Assault here. And here's another Aerial Assault that I might just go with. Another Rapacious Dragon as well, but again, if red is our lowest color, like if we have the least amount of red cards, then having our red cards be the one that help us mana fix is definitely a little bit weird. I think I'm probably just going to take another Aerial Assault here. Another Scuttlemutt for mana fixing seems pretty good. There's also a Winged Words that'll draw some cards. That seems pretty good. And some okay red cards I'm not super into. I'm going to go ahead and take Scuttlemutt. I just want to be able to cast Kaikar. It was the first pick. Let's see if we can roll with it. Here we have Colossus Hammer, which is hilarious, but it's also 8 mana before it does anything, so don't know how well that's going to work out. But it is super cool. There's a Loyal Pegasus, can't attack or block alone, but it is a 1 mana 2/1 flyer, so if we have a decently aggressive deck, which so far we do have a lot of creatures, Loyal Pegasus could be pretty spicy. Squad Captain could be a pretty big late game card, again in a deck with a lot of creatures. Does combo well with Kaikar as well, because we're trying to make a bunch of little 1/1 tokens with him. I think I'm going to go with the Loyal Pegasus here and try and just go for like a white-blue tempo-y aggro deck. So this pack, I'm going to go with an Eternal Isolation. I feel like most of the time your opponent should have some kind of bomb that's going to have power 4 or greater at some point in the game. That is a viable target for this, so I do like that. I'm going to try out the Eternal Isolation here. And not a lot in white, blue, or red. We'll just take the 2 mana 1/3 Lifelinker. Here, really nothing in white or blue, but we do have a red removal spell, 5 mana, deal 5 to a creature and exile it if it dies. So that seems nice. So since the white cards aren't insanely exciting here, there is another Steadfast Sentry. I'd probably just take that. But there is an on-color dual land in this pack, so I'll go ahead and take the mana fixing to help us cast our cool legendary bird wizard. Now, this pack's not the greatest. It's just 2 different, pretty mediocre 3-mana creatures, just okay cards. And we already have a lot of stuff at 3 mana. I guess I'll take the Flying Vigilance card. I think it's pretty unlikely I'm going to be trying to mill my opponents out with the other card's ability there. Here I will take another... So I want the white card that's a 2/2 or the blue card that has flying. It's slightly smaller. I guess blue-white does have a little bit of a flying theme in the set. It's possible that I can open up one of the cards that cares about us having a lot of flyers in the next pack. We already do have Aerial Assault, but that's just gaining life for our flyers, so we don't really have to worry about having flyers for this card. But there are some cards, like an uncommon, that's like 1 white and a blue for a 2/2. It gives all of your other flying creatures +1/+1, so that seems pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take a Reckless Airstrike. I'm probably not playing it, but it's possible. Gauntlets of Light is interesting. I think that this card It's just really bad if your opponent has removal, because then you're spending multiple cards and just losing your creature. But I have definitely lost to a Griffin Sentinel with Gauntlets of Light on it, because that's just brutal. That just turns Griffin Sentinel into a 5/5 Flying Vigilance. So I guess I can just take Gauntlets of Light, throw it in the sideboard for now, and if I pick up more Griffin Sentinels, I guess I can try that out. Gonna take a Glaring Aegis here, probably not playing it. Here I'll take an Anticipate, and a Soul Mender, and plummet to the sideboard. Final pack, let's go. Alright, probably just the rare here. This card is very good and limited. 3 mana for a 1/1 flyer, enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. And for 4 mana, you can exile this card to exile target creature. So it is a removal spell and 2 1/1 flyers to start pinging at your opponent, so very nice card. There's also a Master Splicer, which seems really nice as well. 4 mana for a 1/1 that creates a 3/3 colorless golem and gives your golems +1/+1. So basically for 4 mana, you get a 1/1 and a 4/4. However, if the 1/1 dies, the 4/4 is then just a 3/3, but even that is fine. But I am going to take the rare here. I think Hanged Executioner just seems like a really good card. Alright, here we have a Chandra's Regulator. We are really not heavy enough in red to do anything with this, and we obviously don't have any Chandra Planeswalkers to copy, so this is a rare we're going to have to just pass up on. But we do have some other cards we're interested in. There's Pacifism, which is definitely solid removal to put in our deck. Sleep Paralysis, the same, solid removal. I think I'd probably take Pacifism over Sleep Paralysis for sure. And there's also Scuttlemutt, which Scuttlemutt is once again another just nice mana-fixing card. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Pacifism here. Well, I don't know what happened there, but we did take Pacifism, so that's good. This pack has not a whole lot. There is a red card, but it costs 2 red. Even though it is a pretty good red card, I think that I'm pretty content at this point just splashing in red. So I'm trying to leave our red cards to be pretty easily castable, like only requiring 1 red mana total. So while Chandra's Outrage is a really good card, I am, I think, more interested in just keeping it mainly blue-white. So if I want to take like a removal spell in this pack, I can take Eternal Isolation or Aerial Assault over the Chandra's Outrage. Mask of Immolation is a potential combo with Kaikar, which is interesting because Kaikar makes a bunch of 1/1 spirit tokens. This can start sacking those to deal 1 damage to anything. It's a cute combo, but it's also a pretty slow combo that relies on us drawing our 1 mythic rare, so it's cute, but not something I think I'm going to try out here. I think I'll just take another removal spell. I'll just go ahead and go with another Aerial Assault. I think it's more likely we'll be playing against tapped creatures than power 4 greater creatures. I just think it's probably... this Aerial Assault's probably going to kill more stuff. So here we have Ancestral Blade. I really like all of the equipment that come with creatures in this format. There's a 2 mana 2/2 with the Ancestral Blade, and then if it dies, then it's just an equipment that you can put onto any other creature to give it +1/+1. So like, I feel like all of these equipment are really nice because most of them are like the correct kind of mana that you would spend for that power and toughness of creature already, and then they just give you extra value later. So this is essentially just a 2 mana 2/2, which you would totally play, that later in the game is just an equipment you can put onto other stuff. I think the green one is like a... God, I don't remember. I don't remember what the other colors are, but they are also pretty nice. The red one is a 2 mana 1/1, but you can sack it any time to deal 1 to a creature or player. So yeah, I like all these cards, is what I'm getting at. There's also Yarok's Wavecrasher, which is cool. He lets you get your enter the battlefield effects twice. And Dawning Angel is definitely a nice card. Just a flyer, and it gains you some life, gets you back into the game. I think those are the only 3 cards that are really good for this deck here, but I'm going to take the Ancestral Blade. Alright. What do we got here? We have another Cerulean Drake. or not super interested in these red cards. Scampering? Yeah, Scampering is not how you pronounce that. Scampering Scorcher is a card that I've seen be really good. There's a 4-mana 2/4 that gets +1 power for every other elemental you control. That's a really good combo with this card. This is also just really good with all the stuff that wants you to sacrifice creatures. However, that's mostly in like red-black, not really in any of our blue-white stuff here. I think I'm just going to take another card that's in blue or white here. I think I'll take another Inspiring Captain, actually. We're getting to the point where we get to start cutting the cards from our deck, and so I think I would like to try to just make this as good of a aggressive curve as possible with an Inspiring Captains at the top end to give us that little extra boost to try to kill our opponents. So what do we have here? Windscarred Crag is very interesting. I'm probably going to just take that, I think. There's a third Inspiring Captain. 2 should hopefully be enough, and we don't have a lot that combos super well with the Fencing Ace. So I am going to go with the Windscarred Crag. There's another card I like a lot here, but really is not for this deck. Portal of Sanctuary, 3 mana for an artifact. Spend 1 mana, tap it to return a creature you control and each aura attached to it to their owner's hands. You can only do that once during your turn. So, you can do that only during your turn. You can do it more than once if you have something like the Manifold Key to untap it. But anyways, this is just another card for getting your Enter the Battlefield effects again. So, like, I guess we could return a Frostlinks and re-tap our opponent's creatures, which is cool. But again, I think you have to be going really, really hard on the Enter the Battlefield theme for a card like that. I'm just going to take the land. Alright. I think this pack's just pretty bad all around. Raise the Alarm is actually... Raise the Alarm's pretty nice. 2 mana, instant speed, get 2 1/1s. That seems fine, but it works really well with our Inspiring Captain, because, the more creatures you have, the more +1s you're getting out of the Inspiring Captain, so that's pretty cool. And it also goes well with Kaikar, because it's like another creature for our deck, while also being a non-creature spell to trigger its ability. So Raise the Alarm is actually pretty nice to get that late. This pack's not great. I guess I'll take Griffin Sentinel. That way I can go ahead and side in Gauntlets of Light if I want to during the deck building process at the end here, and try that out. Actually, with 2 Daybreak Chaplain, 2 Griffin Sentinel, Gauntlets of Light could be pretty stupid. I'll go ahead and pick up that Daybreak Chaplain and definitely think about trying that out. And here I'm just going to start taking some random cards, because I don't think any of these last few are going to start being added to our deck. Yep, these are all pretty insignificant late picks. Alright, let's deck build this monstrosity. Alright. So, I think I'm going to take Soulmender out. I don't have any kind of life gain synergies, really, any cards that really want me to be gaining life. And Soulmender's only really good if you have stuff like that, like the Black Flyer that gets a +1 counter whenever you gain life. That's obviously the most ideal time to have a Soulmender in your deck. But even if you just have like the Angel that wants you to be at 25 or more life, it could be okay. So we're going to keep Loyal Pegasus. I'm going to try to make this like a curve-out deck. Keep 2 Daybreak Chaplain, Moorland Inquisitor, Brineborn Cutthroat. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cerulean Drake out. I think I want to keep my power as high as possible on my creatures here. Sentinel, Hanged Executioner. I like all of these cards. Guess I'll take Rapacious Dragon out, because it is, as I said before, it's a card we're not playing until, like, literally turn 5, the very top end of our curve, that gives us more mana. And it's also a red card that mana fixes us, whereas red is our least played color in this deck. So we want, our other colors to mana fix us, because they're the colors that we're gonna have. Alright, 4 more cards need to come out of here. So I can take out a Moorland Inquisitor. Take out an aerial assault. I do have a lot of removal. I don't know if we're going to be able to fit Gauntlets of Light into here. As cute as that would be... What are the stats here? Where do I get the stats at? It's been a while, if I'm being totally honest. I'm not sure where I get the deck stats. Oh, I have to change the layout and then I get it. There we go. Okay, so how many... 16 creatures, 9 non-creatures right now. Average cost of 2.8. I guess, you know, with a Pacifism and 2 Aerial Assault, we can probably just take Eternal Isolation out of here. And then we just take out one of our 3-mana creatures, maybe? Or actually, we have Pacifism, 2 Aerial Assault, and Reduce to Ashes. Maybe I'd take Reduce to Ashes out and have literally the only red card be Kaikar. Seems fine. Then we could put Eternal Isolation back in if we need more removal. Yeah, I'm going to try the thing. I'm going to throw Gauntlets of Light in here. We do have the 2 creatures it works really well on. And I'll take out... one random card here. We have so much at 3 mana. I feel like maybe we're supposed to take out one of the Scuttlemates, but I don't... I want to be able to cast Kaikar like all the time, but we also... That's literally the only card that's not just blue or white, so we don't like super hardcore need that mana fixing. I think we roll like this. We're going to roll like this for now. This is what happens every time I rank draft. I always say that I'm going to roll like this for now, and then change if we're noticing things in the games that are going wrong based on how the deck is built, and then I just always forget and never change the deck. But that's the plan. If it turns out that the whole Gauntlets of Light strategy just sucks, we'll take that out, put some other stuff in. If we're doing really poorly on our mana, we can throw that other Scuttlebutt back in to make sure we're good on mana, and so on. So I'm definitely going to keep this hand. This has all 3 of our colors, and it has a curve where we get to play Sprite into Sentry into Drawn from Dreams, which is very nice because this Drawn from Dreams can help us get some good stuff for the top end of our curve. So I think this hand's very nice. Definitely an auto keep type of hand. It is theoretically like it's a lot of lands, but we have the perfect card to get us out of that kind of situation with the Drawn from Dreams there. Alright. Curve is ready. So yeah, turn 1 Crag, turn 2 Island, and then the other lands don't matter. As long as we've the second blue out by the time we play Drawn from Dreams. Alright, hey, Gauntlets of Light. We don't have any of the creatures we're trying to combo with it right now, but that's okay because we have other things to do on curve here. Yeah, I think I'd rather play the Blade first than the Sprite, because I'm not going to have the mana to start pumping up the Sprite for extra damage for a while here, because I do have, like, I'm going to spend all 3 mana on turn 3, all 4 mana on turn 4. Alright, Goblin Smuggler. That's a 2/2 haste. They can tap it to give another creature with power 2 or less unblockable till end of turn. Go ahead and send in with the Ancestral Blade dude. Taken 2. Go ahead and play Steadfast Sentry. If they offer the trade with the Smuggler, I will take that trade. Put a counter on my 2/2, make it a 3/3. Mainly just to get the unblockable ability off the board, because there are some really good things you can do with the Smuggler. You can give the 2/4 that gets larger later in the turn unblockable. And just other cards like that. Which, there's the combo right there. They can give Lavakin Brawler unblockable, and then have it get +1 for each elemental they have. So it will still be unblockable, even if its power becomes larger after they've used that ability. So this could just come in for like 5 unblockable damage if they have 3 elementals total. So definitely very scary. I don't know if I'm scared enough to just Frostlinks that right now, but if I do Frostlinks that right now, I can actually just attack again. Try to keep the pressure on. So the question is, do I want to keep the pressure on, or do I want to just draw some cards right now? And I think I'm going to just keep the pressure on, actually. Tap down the Brawler and just all attack here. That will stay tapped next turn, so it won't be able to block next turn either. And I can just keep spamming that all attack button. Alright. It's like we're going to trade 2/2s here, which is totally fine by me. Now I can use my last mana to throw this blade onto my Vigilance guy. Now I've got a 4/3 Vigilance here. They might just shoot it immediately, but if they do, at least I get to put the counter onto the Frostlinks when it dies. Alright, looks like it does not die because they played the card that exiles it instead. So, a little sad. So since that Brawler can't get unblockable, I'm not super scared of that thing. I could Gauntlets of Light on my Frostlinks, just throw the Gauntlets down there and equip the Blade. That would get in for 5 damage right now. Put them to 10. I could also play Griffin Sentinel and just be ready to throw that on Griffin Sentinel next turn. Or I can just draw cards. Yeah, I'm gonna hope that they don't have another removal spell. And I'm gonna try to do the Gauntlets of Light combo next turn. Throw this thing onto my Griffin Sentinel and have a 5/5 Flying Vigilance. That would be super nice. If they do have another removal spell, though, it's not the biggest deal in the world. We still have more cards to play, as well as a Drawn from Dreams to let us draw some more. And it looks like just a Wolfkin Bond here. Turning that Lavakin Brawler into a 5/6 on attacks, so that's pretty scary. But we are at 16, so we still have plenty of life to play around with. And let's try it. Oh, that's Daybreak Chaplain. Oops. Alright, now let's try it. I was just going to play the Daybreak Chaplain anyway, I just accidentally did the wrong order. That's totally fine. So, playing Daybreak Chaplain on the ground just to be able to chump block here, or block the 2/2 and survive. So they are dead if they don't have removal. We'll see what they've got. If they have a Rabid Bite, that would be very sad. They get to attack with the Brawler, then it will pump itself to 5 power. Then they can use that 5 power to deal 5 damage to our Griffin Sentinel. That would be very sad. Certainly hope that does not happen. Woo! Jesus! Uncaged Fury, give that Lavakin Brawler +1/+1 double strike. That's 12 damage to me. Whew. Yeah, I probably should have just chump blocked that Lavakin Brawler. I forgot about the fact that there are quite a bit of pump spells in the set. It's actually like a something you could try to draft around. They did make a card that specifically says whenever you target one of your creatures with a spell, draw a card. That's how many pump spells they put in this set, so... yeah, I probably should have just chump blocked the really big creature there. We did still win the game, but all they would have needed was any other pump spell. Anything that gave at least +3 power. So they could have had Infuriate, they could have had the Growth Spiral or whatever. Definitely was a scary last turn there. Alright, and this hand, yet again, has very good mana. However, we don't have as much power in the late game with this hand. We have our 2 mana 2/2 and our 3 mana 1/3 Flying Vigilance. That's pretty much it. But hopefully we can draw into some stuff. We will see. Alright. Send in that, and I think I'd rather just flash in the 2/1 guy instead of play the Griffin Sentinel. That way I can just get the tap land out of the way and have all of my mana accessible. So here's the green one, which is also very good. So it's a 2/2 wolf with +1/+1, can't be blocked by more than one creature. Okay. So, really not a lot I can do here. Guess I'll drop down the Griffin Sentinel so I can start getting damage in there and move the blade to the Cutthroat. That way I can actually block that wolf and trade with it, kill it. Could also have just attacked there, which might be better, and just use the Aerial Assault on the wolf. But I think I'd rather save this Aerial Assault just in case something like really scary shows up. Ooh, Vial of Dragonfire is going to kill our Brineborn Cutthroat. Let that wolf just get in there. At least 3 damage a turn is nothing to be scared about at all, so we have plenty of time to find an answer, and Frostlings is kind of perfect. We get to drop this Frostlings out there. Oops. Drop this Frostlings out there. Keep that tapped and just start bashing in. For granted some pretty piddly amounts of damage, but it's better than nothing here. And there comes a Silverback Shaman, which is also going to get tapped down. Because we can. And I'll kill the wolf, I guess. And just, you know what, just go full aggro. Bam! Now that Shaman doesn't untap this turn, we'll see if they have another creature. They probably do, they have a lot of cards in hand. So, what I've noticed in the game so far, we have definitely been good on mana. We have had all of our colors. Oh my god, yes. Alright, let's just keep this stuff aggro. Oh, that's lethal! Oh, I didn't even do math. Alright, well. I was pretty sure that was going to be almost lethal, at the very least, so it was definitely worth throwing that pacifism out there. Because then if they didn't have removal for our flyer, they'd be dead, but it was actually just lethal immediately, which I did not do the math for, so there's that. Alright. Let's check this deck out. Because I always say I'm going to change it a little bit, and then I never do. I mean, it's operating fine so far. I think we could maybe even cut a land just because our curve's relatively low. So maybe we just take out 1 plains and toss in just like a reduce to ashes. Or another Scuttlemutt. Just throw in another Scuttlemutt. Alright. That is one thing I was definitely getting worried about last game. That game could have gone completely differently if we hadn't drawn as well as we did. We could have just ran out of gas really quickly there. Alright. Well, now that I have cut a plains, the shuffler's going to say, hey, why'd you do that? Alright, mulligan. And we'll keep this one. For sure. Toss a land on the bottom. Anticipate to fix our mana or draw whatever we need later in this game. Ooh, Drawn from Dreams as well. We have the draw spells at the ready. Spectral Sailor from our opponent. Very nice card. They can just spend 4 mana later in the game to just draw a card. That is going to be a spicy threat over there. I could just Aerial Assault that right now if I don't want them drawing cards. I think I'd rather just anticipate, though. If I do Aerial Assault that, though, I also get to just tap out Aerial Assault and then next turn tap out Drawn from Dreams. Alright, Winged Words. Opponent is showing us the gas here. Just a very nice flyer deck here. Alright, taking 1. And anticipate here. What do we got? Scuttlemutt, Ancestral Blade, Island. None of these are very exciting right now. Guess I'll take the Scuttlemutt now we have all of our colors. And then we'll just draw Swiftwater Cliffs. Alright. I will go ahead and play the Aerial Assault now. I do want them to not be drawing cards off that Sailor. Game's not looking super hot for us. Our opponent definitely has the card advantage. They have played a card that lets them draw 2 cards, as well as just they have not mulliganed. Lavakin Brawler. Alright. 2-4. Boy. So just drop Scuttlemutt right now, or just Drawn from Dreams. I think I gotta just draw from Dreams. I need some kind of gas. Alright. Our cards are all so small in this deck. Yeah, I mean, these are all just pretty little creatures. They're all pretty insignificant. I guess Griffin Sentinel blocks in the air well. Just blocks that sprite forever. That Lavakin Brawler, though, we're not going to have anything to really deal with that. At least we got all these cards out of the way to get closer to our removal, because these are all going to the bottom now. Yeah, I honestly have no idea what I even want as my other card. Guess we'll just grab the good blockers. That's it. Because we are plenty good on mana. We don't really need another Scuttlemutt. Lightning Stormkin. Alright, opponent just has the flyers. Alright. No blocks. That is all flying. Hey, it's Kaikar. We don't have anything non-creatures here. So I'd be spending 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have 2 mana left, so I would just play him. Daybreak Chaplain. I think I'll just play Griffin Sentinel and Scuttlemutt here. That way, if they have any kind of removal, it's a little more likely that they'll just kill off the Griffin Sentinel, and Kaikar can survive next turn. I don't think that's super likely. I think they seem to probably just have more creatures here, but we'll see. Alright. This could go horrifically for me, but I think I might just want to triple block that Lavakin Brawler. And if I don't deal with that Lavakin Brawler, that's like, all I can do is chump block it. I feel like they just have to have nothing, or I have to draw my removal. Alright, well this is gonna go awfully, but I honestly think I have to just get rid of that Brawler. I have to hope they don't have a pump spell. Let's see what's going on here. They're looking at their hand, which makes me think I'm probably dead. Yeah, Shock will do it. Alright, I mean, that's not as horrifically as it could have gone. Because I could have, like, literally just blocked the Lightning Stormkin with Griffin Sentinel. And then they could have just shocked Griffin Sentinel, and that would have been worse. Alright. We will play all of our cards. I should have attacked with Griffin Sentinel. That was just one free point of damage. Because I believe the Metropolis Sprite was tapped. I think we're just getting demolished this game. Our deck is like very low curve, small stuff. We kind of have to get out before our opponent does, and our opponent got their stuff out before we did. Well, I guess it's more of just like opponent played better stuff than we did. I mean, I'm pretty screwed. Windscarred Crag. Land is not what I needed. That is gonna be game. All of their creatures do a minimum of 2 damage. Because they can pump that Metropolis Sprite, and we only have 2 blockers, they have 4 attackers. So that is at least the 4 damage to kill us there. And I didn't give any GGs because my emotes are currently turned off because of what happened during the Giant Monsters event. If you have not watched that video. It was not great. Alright, so I think we're at 2 wins, 1 loss. Definitely not bad at all. I say it pretty frequently in my draft videos. I'm always happy to go at least average. Definitely super happy if I can go above average. And 3-3 is literally exact average. Alright. This hand is very risky. We can't cast a single card in it unless we draw more lands. So I think I'm going to have to mulligan here. Not again. I can cast these 2 cards, though, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this. I guess the question is, do we admit that we're never going to cast Kaikar, or do we just go for it? I think I'm honestly just going to put Kaikar on the bottom. These 2 cards were way more likely to cast. So it's a little sad, but I think that's where we're at here. Griffin Sentinel, not a fantastic draw right now. Literally the only thing I want to draw right now is just a white source. Everything else is a sad draw. But I don't think this hand was worth mulliganing back down to 5 cards. Alright, we got the white source. Actually kind of perfect. Go ahead and just drop the blade out. Not super interested in dropping the Sprite down right now, again, because I'm definitely not going to be in a position to be spending that extra blue mana for a while. So Daybreak Chaplain now a 2/6. Thanks to that aura there. So we'll just play our 3 toughness creature, and now we can still block the Chaplain. Unless they put even more auras onto it. Which would be pretty concerning, but we do have a lot of removal. We've got Pacifism and 2 of the sorcery that destroys a tapped creature. Got answers. So, if they have a pump spell here, I'm just going to accept it. Looks like they don't. They just want to gain that life there. A little bit weird, seeing as like they could just leave it as a blocker and then I just ping them for 1. What do I want here? I guess here I'll use the most of my mana. Play both of my 2 mana cards. And now I have more damage in the air to get around the Chaplain. Rule of Law. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Okay. That is fine with me. I'm probably not going to be drawing a lot of cards for a while. But if I do end up in a position where I have a bunch of lands and I cast a Drawn from Dreams, it'll be a little bit sad that I don't get to immediately follow it up with more spells. But I think overall we can get around the Rule of Law just fine here. Play some more dudes. Get as much damage in here as possible. And that's just the plan. Gaining the 2 life a turn here, though, is staving them off from death for quite a while. Oh no! Another Daybreak Chaplain. Opponent has a pretty impressive healing factor right now. Ooh. I think it's actually more damage to just tap down the one that can currently block. So I'll do that. Could move that Ancestral Blade onto the Frostlinks and then double block with Sentry and Frostlinks, but I don't think I need to do that. And there is the scoop from opponents. They definitely seemed stuck on mana there. They were either stuck off of a second color or just stuck on mana in general. They only had 3 lands that whole game. So definitely not the greatest game for our opponent. But at least somebody got some packs out of it. That somebody happened to be me. Alright. Alright, 3 wins and 1 loss. Losing my train of thought at every turn. See if we can get any more wins here. It is totally possible we just lose 2 more times. Seeing as that would give us the exact average, but I'm hoping we can get there. This is not the strongest hand for our deck. We really want to curve out, but you have Drawn from Dreams for some draw power. We have double Frostlinks to stave off our opponent's threats. And double removal spells to just straight up kill them later. Scuttlemutt is here. Don't I just draw from Dreams immediately, or tap down Scuttlemutt? It could be keeping them off of casting something good. But I think this hand actually does have a lot of late game power, just in the ability to kill late game threats. So we could play it slower. I kind of like just tossing the Frostlinks out there. Because again, like, we can play plenty slow here. so we might as well just hold off on the Drawn from Dreams for later. Let's see what kind of pump spell they've got. Looks like no pump spell. I will accept that. Octo Prophet is here. Scrying 2. Both going to the bottom. We now have all of our colors. I don't really want to just kill an Octoprophet, so I'm going to draw from Dreams for now. Hanged Executioner. Sure. And Ancestral Blade, maybe? Let's try and just make our flyers stronger. Yeah, I think I'll take Ancestral Blade. Probably just throw the equipment onto our flyers. Alright, taken 3. Inspiring Captain. Could be a nice follow-up to a Hanged Executioner. Alright, here comes Executioner. Looks like a Bone to Ash from our opponent, maybe? Nope. No counter. Completely forgot about playing around counter spells. Probably should have played the little sprite first, just in case. Alright, we played some flyers. I could go ahead and attack with the Frostlings and see if they're interested in trading for the Scuttlemutt. Doubt it would happen. And it looks like it actually worked out very well that we didn't attack with the Frostlings. Because had we done so, that Ambusher would have just ate it. So, Rabid Bite to have their Night Pack Ambusher kill our flyer. We are definitely going to kill that thing since it's tapped. Just Aerial Assault that. I think I'm going to no-block it here. I think it's insanely likely that they have some kind of pump spell there. Because otherwise they're just throwing that Ambusher into like a high risk of dying. Alright, so we're going to kill that. Just get out of there, Ambusher. And Daybreak Chaplain? Yeah, that blocks pretty well. I think I send in the 1/1 flyer. Now I just double block the Prophet with a 2/2 and a 1/2. And whatever kind of pump spell they have, they're just going to get their value out of it. I will allow that. This Bright Wood Tracker definitely going to draw some cards for them. Actually, I think I would be more okay with the Chaplain dying than the Sprite dying. But I did want to keep the Chaplain black. I did want to keep the Chaplain back to block like a Scuttlemutt or something like that if they just wanted to attack all out. So Pulse of Murasa, bring back Night Pack Ambusher, and cast it. Well, that's just fantastic. Yeah, I mean, Pacifism doesn't really do anything to that, so we're kind of just going to die to a bomb. Actually, more accurately, die to double bomb, which does definitely happen. Well, let's get in there in the air for a little bit of damage. think I'm going to pump that here. Because I think if I play the Ancestral Blade and then I have 3 different blockers, I think they're really unlikely to attack with the Ambusher. Now I'm hoping that they just play it loose with the Ambusher again, since they did it earlier, but they could have been playing it loose with the Ambusher since they knew they had Pulse and Marasa. Which seems like the thing. Alright, they're casting a Netcaster Spider. Thankfully, that means they are not going to get a Wolf this turn, which is super nice. And I'm just going to immediately pacify that. Because I have got to do as much damage in the air as fast as possible. That is my only way to win this game at this point. Otherwise, this Ambusher is just going to take it over with all the 2/2 wolves. We'll go ahead and suit up the Metropolis Sprite so that now we can double pump it each turn. Right. No attacks and no spells, giving them a 3/3 wolf. That is a land. Alright, hitting them for 5 in the air. They are on a 3-turn clock. Hopefully we can outrace them here. But it is going to be quite hard. They also have a Brightwood Tracker, and a main deck Plummet is going to do it. So, I mean... yeah, I think we just lose now. Our only hope there was to outrace with the Flyers, but they did have the destroy target creature with flying to end it for us. And a Temsis All-Seeing. Which is a 4/5 flyer. They can draw 2 and discard a card. And it has an alternate win condition if they have 6 different converted mana costs in their hand for whatever reason somehow. They can win the game immediately. I think when it damages us. Yeah. Well, that was a sad one. We had a little glimmer of hope there earlier in the game, and just got it crushed on us. They managed to regrowth, bring back their bomb, and they have another bomb. That one doesn't matter as much. I think once they got rid of the Metropolis Sprite, we didn't have really any aggro to try to outrace them. But that will just solidify it. And a Wake Root Elemental, alright. This guy's draft pool is great. A Temsis, and Nightpack Ambusher, and a Wake Root Elemental. Pretty spicy stuff. Go ahead and just trade for a wolf at this point. Just like, why not? Our chances of winning are a literal 0 right now. And there we got ya boy, the Plains. I keep clicking on the avatar trying to say good game. And I forgot that I turned emotes off, so... there's that. Agent of Treachery as well? What? Who? What kind of bots were you drafting with? Oh my god, alright. Just gave him the Agent of Treachery as well. That's the quad bomb draft deck right there. the 3-bomb draft deck, that's good. That's what you hope for. That's like you got a good rare from all 3 of the packs. Anything above 3 is like, that's just gas. That's just the bots are not drafting the same colors as you, so you're getting past bomb rares in your colors. So that's very nice. Alright. So, I mean, we have all 3 of our colors, as well as some 2-mana cards and 3-mana cards. I'll keep this one. Yoked Ox from our opponent. 1 mana 0/4. Definitely a cute card. Classic, back from Theros. Just a little blocker. Fencing Ace comes out. So I expect that this game's going to be terrifying. If I had to make a guess, I think they're probably going to put the 3-mana enchantment on that Fencing Ace, and things are going to get really scary really fast. But we'll see. If that happens, we actually have a pretty good hand to try to get around that. Looks like it's an Angelic Gift, which is just a 2-mana enchantment instead. And it doesn't give it any extra power, so that's not super terrifying. Yeah, we have a pretty good hand for trying to get around that. We have Frostlings to slow it down, and we have Drawn from Dreams to try to draw into removal if they put more stuff on it. However, Yoked Ox is going to hold down the fort for our opponent. We're not really going to outrace the Fencing Ace. We are definitely going to have to find a way to kill it. And there's a second Fencing Ace. I'm terrified. Fencing Ace is a scary card. That's for sure. So we can Drawn from Dreams or just kill the first Fencing Ace. But I think I would rather Aerial Assault once I know which Fencing Ace has like the scary enchantment on it. So I guess I just play this stuff and they have to throw an aura onto one of their Fencing Aces, or else they're just attacking into like a brick wall. Like my 1/2 and my 1/3 can block and kill a Fencing Ace. So we'll wait until they've actually made one of the Fencing Aces a threat that I have to deal with before I deal with one. Alright, that works too. That'll get some damage in. I guess they could just be on more of a pump spell style strategy than an aura style strategy. I think I'll just go ahead and block like that. That kills that Fencing Ace, and then I can Aerial Assault the other Fencing Ace, and then I just don't care. Doesn't really matter if they have auras for them, because they're gone. Alright. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Don't have to be scared. They could still have like a decent aura and just throw it on the captain and just have a big guy. Just like a 5/5. But that's not as scary as double striking 3/3 or something like that. Sending in the Inspiring Captain, no blocks. I will go ahead and throw this Ancestral Blade onto a Daybreak Chaplain so I can block a 3/3 and gain 2 life. And we will Drawn from Dreams, grabbing Kaikar. And what? A Frostlinks? Raise the Alarm, Anticipate. I guess I do want to grab Kaikar and a non-creature spell so I can have another flyer. So I guess Kaikar Raise the Alarm. That way I have a bunch of chump blockers on the ground as well. That could work out. Frostlinks is good. Like, maybe I should have just taken Kaikar Frostlinks, because Frostlinks was, like, the best card. Was the easiest Mind Rot ever. We're keeping ya boy. Kaikar. They are sending in. Let's see your pump spells. Block that. There we go. Alright, there is no pump spell. It is good. 2 cards in hand for our opponent. We've got a Pacifism, as well as a Kaikar. Let's go for it. They now only have a single 3/3 as an attacker, and we have a 2/4 lifelinker to block it. Definitely have to have something in hand. Ooh, is it going to be that 6-mana altar that makes 5/5 demons? Nope, just a Mind Rot for my pacifism. That's a little more irritating. And a pacifism for Kaikar. Luckily, I am definitely in the winning position right now, so it is all up to who top decks better, and I get the first draw. So, let's see. It's time for the Wheel of Fate. I do still get to make 1/1s every time I cast something like this, which is sick. Alright, that's a gigantic Yolk-Dox. Luckily, though, I think the auto-tapper just screwed them, like, hardcore. Because for a white and 2, they can untap that creature, but they tap triple white. So, Aerial Assault can destroy that tapped creature, because they don't have any white mana, so that's pretty rough. Because they definitely should have been able to untap that, and they weren't, so that's not the fairest. But I will still take it. I have been killed by the auto-tapper many a time. Blood Burglar, 2/2 lifelink during their turn. Right. Dawning Angel. That is one definite way to turn things right around. Inspiring Captain? Alright, let's get in there. I should not have let the auto-tapper do anything. Because I could have pumped the Metropolis Sprite more. If I had more blue mana up. So I did not get screwed as bad as my opponent by the auto-tapper, but I still did get mildly screwed. Could have done 1 more damage to my opponent there. So they would have been at 7. If that matters. So they're keeping it aggressive. That Dawning Angel. Alright, well, that's another Inspiring Captain. They have 2 blockers. They block my 4/4, block my 3/5. I just deal with the flyers. That's it. But I go to 8 life. Think it's better to not attack on the ground. Maybe just send in a 4/4? I think I need something to block that Dawning Angel, because they're definitely playing the kind of deck that would have pump spells and aura spells and stuff like that, so I need like a blocker for the Angel, just in case they turn it into lethal. But if I attack with Captain, I'm just trading for a 3/3. Just send in the Sprite, I guess. Alright, they are at 4. So they would have been at 3 had I not auto-tapped the first Captain. They have 3 blockers, I have 5 attackers. I can get a minimum of 3 damage in, so if that ends up mattering, that'll be sad. But it is also fair enough. Because they would have literally won if it weren't for the auto tapper. Comes around, goes around type thing. Okay. Neither of us have anything that cares about colors, so Scuttlebutt doesn't change a lot here. Send in the Metropolis Sprite. They probably block at this point. I guess at this point, man, I really wasn't thinking about it, but at this point, I don't need the +1/+1 on the Chaplain anymore. I should have just thrown it on the Sprite. But if I throw it on the Sprite, I think they would have just traded it for the Angel earlier. But still, it does threaten more damage if they don't block, so it would have gotten the trade done earlier at the very least. Which I don't know if that's better or worse. Pass. Definitely was not going to just give the 1/1 flyer +1/+1. I just think it's way too risky to not save up a flying blocker against the deck that has like double fencing ace, so probably is running a lot of ways to pump them. We did see a Gauntlets of Light. And here is a Pacifism. It's pretty scary. Sending in the Squad Captain. Got 1 white mana up. They could have the card that gives it protection from a color, which would be sad, but if I double block with captains, that still just kills one of my captains, so that's fine. Alright, we did get to kill it. And our turn. Hanged Executioner. I can cast that and have the mana to exile one of their creatures. I have 3 attackers. Oh my god, I think I can make it lethal. Yeah, I can do lethal thanks to Kaikar's ability. So I gotta exile this to exile their 3/3. And then thanks to Kaikar's ability, I can sacrifice a spirit to get a red mana to give +1/+1 to my 1/1, and now that's a minimum of 4 damage. I wouldn't have had to do that if I got that extra damage in earlier, but it's still kind of neat, kind of cute. Bam. Alright. I think we're at 5 wins and 1 loss. Draft has not gone as badly as it was looking for a second there. We are above average at 4 wins, but we are all the way down in the bronze queues. Or we started all the way down in the bronze queues at the very bottom, just because I hadn't done any ranked drafts at all during this month, just because I've been waiting for M20 ranked drafts. So we are in the very start of the queues, not against like the really, really impressive players or anything. Just against the casuals, like myself. Alright. We have all 3 of our colors yet again, as well as a 2-mana 2/2 into a Frostlynx. I like this hand a lot. Ooh, and now we've got a Flash guy on turn 2, if that changes anything. That's also pretty cool. And we have Kaikar himself. Yeah, I'm probably going to play the Flash guy on turn 2, because I actually have an instant speed card to play that could put a +1/+1 counter on him. Right. Angel of Vitality is here. I'm actually going to Frostlynx first. We'll save the Executioner for later. And now next turn I can cast Kaikar. And then I can start casting stuff like Ancestral Blade and Anticipate and creating spirits with Kaikar. This has actually been one of our most synergistic hands I think I've drawn. Just because we don't have a lot of non-creature spells that work with Kaikar. Oh, we've drawn them. That is for sure. So they have 4 mana, which makes me pretty scared, but they're green-white, which means they don't have a counter spell. So Kaikar will resolve at the very least. He just might immediately die to a plummet, which would be sad, but it happens. It definitely happens. If they just pacify Kaikar or something, that's totally fine. We can still make some dudes. Alright, looks like nothing. Just a 5/4 ape. So Kaikar is definitely fine. I think I like just playing Ancestral Blade, getting a Spirit Token, and anticipating during our opponent's turn for like a bunch of value. Alright. We will send in our 3/3 flyer, because they only have a 2/2 flyer to block. That ape does not have reach. Bam, they are down to 11. I think if they attack with the Shaman, I'm probably just going to take all 5, even though I have plenty of creatures to block. Alright, there we go. That's a plan. Give the ape flying so it can now block my stuff. A definite plan. There's a fencing ace as well. Double striker guy. Alright, passing the turn, we will go ahead and cast Anticipate for lots of value. Counter on our Cutthroat and a Spirit Token. Go ahead and grab... Could grab a 5th mana. Or a Griffin Sentinel. I think I just want the Griffin Sentinel. Because, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think I'm probably going to draw land anyway. And I did, so... Cast Hanged Executioner and Metropolis Sprites. And then the plan is to exile that Shaman. Actually, if I... Yeah, no, I don't have enough white mana to save up mana to exile something. So I do have to cast like a 3 mana white spell and a 2 mana blue spell here. So here's a Hanged Executioner and Metropolis Sprite. And we've got a lot of stuff. Hopefully nothing to get rid of the Executioner, that way I can actually get rid of their ape. But we will see. Got 3... Oh, they're gaining a bunch of life here, I think. Oh, just 3 life. Okay. So yeah, their life total becomes its toughness. Or all of their creatures' toughness, which is 13. I think we still just clear the air. We have a bunch of chump blockers, which we're going to need for that. That'll be giant. But yeah, just clear the air here. And if I attack with all the flyers, they get to kill 1 and take 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess the question is it worth the extra 2 damage to sacrifice one of them? Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of blockers. Let's get as aggressive as possible, try to kill them as fast as possible here. Alright. They're down to 7. This turn I'll chump block that Life Chanter if I have to. Thrashing Brontodon probably going to kill my Ancestral Blade if it ever becomes dangerous to them. Go ahead and spend a red mana to throw this onto the Sprite. So now that's 7 damage right there. So they have to block Kaikar and Sprite or destroy the sword. Alright, so they block the Sprite. Take 5. Alright. They have to kill the sword if they want to kill my Sprite. Alright, kill the sword. We'll go ahead and make it a 2-1 then, so they still trade. And they're down to 2. Opponent is pretty much just going to need like a Wrath of God to get out of this. So I'm just going to play like one dude. Save everything else. We probably could have won if we just attacked with everybody. Oh, shit. Oh, dear. I might actually lose because I didn't just attack with everybody and kill them there. Because now they have a 7/7 flying lifelinker. If I attack with everyone, they block these 3, gain 7, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ain't lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 flying damage right now. Yeah, we cannot win right now. Oh, I might have just cost myself the game because I was so like focused on my flyers. Just hyper focused on that. So I mean, what? They do this, go to 9, then they have 2 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We do 12 to them. They gotta have a pump spell here. Or something. So I can theoretically block with everything and kill that, but then if they have a pump spell, I'm so dead, because they get rid of all my flyers. Whereas if I don't block that, if they have a pump spell, they're just trying to get out of range of lethal crackback, which I think is a little bit harder for them to do. So I'm just not going to block. Go to 9. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hit him for 9 here. You go to 4, then just gain 7 again. Oh no. I do still have 4 removal spells in my deck, I think. That could be the game plan now. Yeah, I think earlier I was just so caught up in thinking about the flying game plan that I just refused to acknowledge the ground-based win that was right in front of me. I just couldn't see it. Oh, that's so rough. Now I... Now I'm at least, like, a lot more likely to lose because of that. Oh, I'm just dead. I'm just dead. That's, like, actually just, like, lethal. Yeah, that's tremendously awful. Yeah, I literally don't even have enough flying damage to kill that Sephara, so they're gaining 9 and keeping Sephara at the very least here. And I have to block with a bunch of shit to survive at all. 14, 20, 23, 26 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, 18. I mean, I can technically survive that attack, but there's no coming back from that. There's just actually no coming back. Regardless of any draws in my deck there, so I just don't want to give myself a gigantic headache and aneurysm trying to figure out what the technically best way to block there is to give myself a 0.5% chance of winning, so... Well, that was a sad way to end it there. Definitely a hard misplay on my part. Definitely feels pretty bad, but we got 3 packs of Core Set 2020 along the way to open up as prizes, and anytime you win at least 3 rounds in a ranked draft, definitely fine in my opinion. And we have a Temple of Mystery as our rare, definitely a nice card to open outside of draft, because it's a good card to have in your collection for multicolored decks. Got an uncommon wild card, and a Temsis All-Seeing. That's super cute, and actually the fact that Brawl is coming to Arena, confirmed officially, means that there is actually a place for this card where it could do something cute. You could actually try to kill somebody with that weird alternate ability there. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but it is only going to be 1v1 Brawl that's coming to Arena, so just 1 versus 1 games. Still no plans to add multiplayer to Arena, as good as I think that would be. If they could have just 4-player games of Brawl, even, would be fantastic. But we'll see as we get to the future of this client. Alright, final card looks like another just rare, but it could be something spicy. Agent of Treachery. That card definitely a lot more spicy in Limited than Constructed, but still a cool card nonetheless, something you could try to build around. For some kind of goofy deck, definitely some kind of Brawl-style, more casual deck, if you're trying to trigger that secondary effect there. But thank you everybody so much for watching. Sorry that there were some misplays in there. I'm definitely not the greatest player ever. I just try my best, and it doesn't always work out. I definitely make mistakes pretty often. But thank you all for watching, and I'll be back again soon with some more Magic the Gathering content. Definitely some more ranked drafts as we wait for the next set to come out. We've got, well, as we wait, it's still months away. Core Set is still pretty new. But now that Core Set is the ranked draft format, now that I can play Limited with gold instead of gems, I will definitely be having a lot more ranked draft videos coming up. And I'll be talking about stuff I'm excited about in Magic. Other than that, and probably trying out all of the special formats that they add onto Arena in the meantime. So thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you again sometime soon.